Well, for those of you who cares, this video is another important video that you can't afford to miss. Now, my attention was drawn to the interview the Chief of Army Staff. You know, the Chief of Army Staff after Nnamdi died, the acting Chief of Army Staff now became the new Chief of Army Staff. So he's also an Yoruba man. His name is Oluyade, Olufemi, something like that, okay? Now, he went to Kogi State, okay? By the way, there have been a lot of terrorist attacks in Kogi State and Plateau State, so it's no longer a news. People know about that, right? Now, listen carefully to what this man is about to say, because they interview him, AIT Independent, television, that one in Benin. So they were interviewing him that, how can you solve this problem? Look at what is going on in Kogi State that you came, and look at what just happened in Plateau State. This is what the man said. You are going to watch it, and I quote, "Even though we deploy the whole military men in Nigeria, we can't do anything because there is an underlying issue." And he went on to say that the attack that is going on in Nigeria, also the one in Plateau State, is political. Now, I have a lot of things to discuss with you. Take a listen.
I wouldn't say particularly that it's going to be a new strategy, because the fact here is that there are some issues that need to be resolved, politically. Because we can't rely permanently on kinetic approach to issues. So with that, I'm going to meet the governor of the state and deliberate with him to see how we can resolve these issues politically. We're talking about our aspect of the job. We're going to see how we can enhance the security of this place by inducting more men, inducting more enablers, and maybe from there we'll take it on.
Okay, sir, you just said something about we're going to ask about their request for more personnel in Plateau State. So what's the plan to this?
I've just told you now that I'm going to bring in more men, but the underlying factor has to be addressed. Because even if you deploy the entire Nigerian army in Plateau State, if the underlying factors are not addressed, we can't achieve much.
Has there been any arrests so far, sir?
Well, with the police, I think that some arrests have been made.
I bet you did not listen to what he said very well. Please pay attention. I want you to listen again.
I've just told you now that I'm going to bring in more men, but the underlying factor has to be addressed. Because even if you deploy the entire Nigerian army in Plateau State, if the underlying factors are not addressed, we can't achieve much.
Has there been any arrests so far, sir?
Well, with the police, I think that some arrests have been made.
Lie. No arrests have been made. I confirm this personally that no arrests have been made about the Plateau incident. But that is by the way. Now, let us focus on what the Chief of Army Staff said. You know what Chief of Army Staff, you know what it means, right? Now, the Chief of Army Staff is saying that even though I deployed the whole military in Nigeria, they can't solve the insecurity problem because it is political. There is an underlying issue. What are the issues? Now, the governor of Plateau State came to Chinese television. He said, there are people who are sponsoring these terrorists. He did not mention their name. He said, there are people who are sponsoring them. You know, I used to tell you people that Nigeria government is the sole sponsor of these terrorists going on in Nigeria. People don't still understand what is going on, okay? A lot of people don't still know what is playing in Nigeria. But for those of you who are new to this channel, I will leave you with Dr. Kunde Ondawumi, former Nigeria Defense Intelligence Agency. Because if you listen to what he's about to say now, you will come to match it with what the Chief of Army Staff said. You now match it with what the former Chief of Army Staff that died some months ago said. You now also remember what the Chief of DSS Chief, right? What he said. That they can't protect everybody. The community should protect themselves. You're on your own, because they don't want to tell you. This man just leaked top secret. It's a top secret. This issue is political. There is an underlying issue. Even though we deploy the whole military in the world to fight these bandits, these Boko Harams, we can't succeed. Anyway, Nigerians, do you still want to continue? Listen to Dr. Kunde Ondawumi.
Constitution is secured Now, what you are doing now, you want to start, advancing the interest of those religious groups to actually now confirm that Nigeria is an Islamic state. And let me tell you something that people don't know. This thing was caused by the British. Between 1900 and 1960, they knew that they cannot govern the North except they allowed them to practice their religion, and they were using their religious leader to basically govern them. It is called indirect rule. Immediately after independence, 1960, the British knew that they shouldn't have forged these two people together. They know. But because they want to achieve the divide and rule and to be able to conquer and take our resources and steal whatever they want to steal over the years, they merged these two people together. They could not govern the North and South under one religious or administration. They know. So they're not giving independent and merge you people to work together. That was why the 1960 coup started. That was how the Civil War started. Now, 86, Babangida came with the OIC stuff, tried to Islamize us. It didn't work. In 2000, when 1999-2000, when Obasanjo came, he permitted them to start practicing Sharia. Today now, they want to consolidate it. Once you remove that person, all of us, whether you are Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, Jukun, Christian, traditional, you are now under the law, the Islamic law, because they put it in the Constitution.
In fact, listening to the member that was representing Ahoda East, Abu Anudua Federal Constituency, River State, I want to get his words. He said, personal matters, that was envisaged, he says, by the people who drafted this constitution. And I want to quote him. The implication is, if the word personal is removed, Islamic law would have broader implications. The word personal was put there for a reason. Let's talk a bit about this whole conversation about Islamizing the country with our population and our dynamics. Is it possible that someone can sneak this in at some point and force all of us under some sort of regulation that we do not ascribe to? Is it possible that this can happen in this country?
It is possible, and don't be deceived. It's going to happen. Do you know Constantinople? Today's Turkey? They were almost 98% Christian before now. Today, it's an Islamic country. I did Islam in my master's program, and I was trained by Professor Alijani. He's a Persian. He's an Iranian American. And I scored A. That's excellent in Islam. So I know them. It may take them 1,000 years. They will Islamize Nigeria. So they will take it slowly, gradually. They don't forget. All of us will be dead after some time. Our children that don't care, or this Gen Z will come. They will still Islamize this country. If they can do it in Turkey, today's Turkey, what stops you? Why do you think they won't do it here? Except we take steps now, because we are the ones that are talking about these things. Our next generation in 50 years will not even care. You understand? So I'm thinking that if some part of the country, I don't want to be specific, if they feel strongly about an ideology, a religious, but I think they can restrict it to their area. And I think maybe Tinubu should do well by developing this issue of regional autonomy where everybody should organize themselves, or at worst, let the country actually go apart, and you can do whatever you want in your area. I've come to that conclusion that I don't think we can stay together because of this very strong belief about religion. So it's either we stay together, or people should mind their religion and stay where they are and practice what they want. Imposing it on others is wrong. I study Islam, and I don't want to talk blasphemy here. If I start talking about Islam, in the next 3 hours, we will not live here.
No, we don't want you to talk blasphemy either. Talking about our country, in many, we are not a religious country, so to speak, on paper. We're a secular nation. What kinds of conversations should we be having with the Nigerian people, especially the younger generation, about how to ensure that we remain secular, where you can practice your religion in any part of the country that you please without imposing your views or belief systems on any other person? What kind of conversations should we be having, and what should our lawmakers be thinking at the back of their minds? At least they've made the first step, which is dropping this bill and ensuring that it doesn't go through. But in subsequent conversations that you said will inevitably come up, what should we be doing as a people to ensure this doesn't happen?
I'm going to be extreme. For me, if you look at Sudan, you have now North Sudan, South Sudan. I think we should have Northern Nigeria and Southern. Then they can practice whatever they want. There's no dialogue because they will not stop. I've told you it may take 1,000 years. They will still do it. But if you let everybody go their way, maybe you have enough.
That is it.
They remain there and you have the sovereignty down south. Then you can do what you want. But if you remain and you think you can talk to your Jersey and people that don't care about anything, it will happen. It took hundreds of years before Turkey, Constantinople, Istanbul was converted completely today. And if you look at history will tell you that you cannot assuage these people. Who owns those banks? I did a lot of research, and I want our audience to go and find out the owner of Taj Bank and the other bank. Then the picture will start getting clear to you. You have the Jaiz Bank and you have the Taj Bank. It is an open source information. Go on the internet, the board of directors, you will see the shareholders. I don't want to mention them on national television. Go and do your research. And you're beginning to understand, you begin to understand what I said, that people have been sponsoring terrorism because they want to Islamize Nigeria. Now Tinubu has come, and it's a little bit very hard on them. That section, the kinetic approach, is failing. So they are now trying to bring it through the constitution, or to legalize it. If we cannot go through the bush and kill as many people, and they are still resisting us, and this man has come and is fighting this is just killing all the fighters, then let us go to the house and bring it in through the back door. We just remove that clause, personal. They will not know, they may not pay attention. They will just, and that is it. They will still do this thing. Go and find out the owners of those banks. They are the ones sponsoring these narratives. And I always say it on television, go after the sponsors. Those guys speaking in the house, they are just paid to do that. And with time, they're going to bribe the remaining ones, and they will pass it. If not this year, it may be 10 years' time. If it's not 10 years' time, it may be 50 years. They are going to Islamize this country. But I think the solution, what we should be discussing with people should try to understand we are not the same people. The North and South are not the same. The British understood. That's what they are doing indirectly. And they deliberately merge us so that we can continue to fight like this, and they can continue to take our resources away.
Speaking about the British,